Hi, welcome to another Power Blast podcast. Today, I'm going to read to you a bittersweet letter that I wrote to Beachbody. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, Perry Tinsley here, creator of the Power Blast podcast and owner of Put Yourself First. And I'm going to share a letter with you that I wrote to Beachbody. And I've published this out there. And it's been I haven't officially really gone through and read it. Maybe not in a while anyway. I just kind of let it flow through the fingers as I wrote it and sent it off. And I came across it, started reading just the other day because I was just kind of thinking of my story and where things are at as of this recording in April of 2018, and had me reflecting back to past Aprils. And it was back in April of 2003 that I made a decision. And that's part of the letter that I want to read to you. And there's some bittersweet moments in there. There's some great victories in there, but some very sad moments as well. And hoping that I can keep my composure as I read it to you, because I think maybe I'm doing this for me. I don't know, to read this out loud, but I think even maybe sharing it with you, because if you've been a subscriber, or if you're a new subscriber to this podcast, you may not know my whole story, and this letter's not going to tell you my whole story by any means, but it's an important one. It was kind of a starting point of what it is that I get to do now, with just living a healthy, fulfilling life and being happy and being able to pay it forward. So I'm gonna read it as I wrote it here, and I so appreciate you for coming on here today, and either just listening, if you're listening in your car, or listening while you're mowing the lawn, or some of you might be out shoveling. It's been cold in other places, or if you're watching the recording, I'm pointing at you in the camera right now. So thank you very much. Here we go. One cold morning in the early months of 2002, I was sitting on the couch watching TV and eating my second huge bowl of cereal at 4:30 a.m., slowly waking to start my day. I began to channel surf and went through several channels when I stopped on an infomercial about a workout program. For whatever reason, the info made sense. Better sense than anything I had tried before, which wasn't anything since the mid-1990s when abs, thighs, buns, arms of steel was all the rage. I'm sure this Power 90 workout program is a lot of work and sweat, which I really don't want to do, I told myself, but I need to do something. Earlier that year, I had grown into size 36 jeans, which I swore I never would allow myself to do, and was quickly growing in weight through the 190-pound range. So I decided to secretly make a phone call outside of my house so as to not wake my wife, Terry. I could just hear her. Who could he be talking to at 4:30 in the morning? I placed the order for Power 90 and 2 workout bands. In the days of waiting for its arrival, I tried to psych myself into thinking, I'll stop eating junk and start working out, and I'm really going to get in shape when this program comes. The program came, and I eagerly... The program came, and I eagerly opened it and read through the material. Yep, it looked like a lot of work. 6 days a week? No way. And where is that pizza listed on that Michi's ladder eating plan thing? I decided to try the program my own way and customize it to fit me. So I began working out in secret. I didn't want my wife to catch me working out because I felt kind of silly doing some of the moves. At first, I started working out 3 days a week. Then maybe I'd work out once a week. Then I wouldn't do any workouts. Then I would bounce back and give 3 days a week a try. Needless to say, Perry's way of doing Power 90 was going nowhere. So I put everything in a closet and forgot about it. A year went by. In the early months of 2003, I knew the scales were beginning to surge past the dreaded 200-pound mark, so I stopped weighing myself. Out of sight, out of mind. But my size wasn't going out of sight, and it wasn't constantly on my mind. No, let me rephrase that. And it was constantly on my mind. I needed to go shopping again for jeans. Size 38s this time. So I decided to start eating less. That held off the growth into the 38s, but how long could I hold out? In my job, I videotape teachers and classrooms and produce professional development videos for a school district. I caught myself on tape one day and saw myself looking way bigger than I thought I was. Not huge, just bigger. That's when I decided to commit to trying the Power 90 program at least for the full 90 days. I looked at the calendar because I wanted to block out a 90-day time period where there wasn't a lot of holidays, birthdays, or events that usually were associated with food. Mid-April of 2003 sounded good to me. I discussed my plan with my wife, and I told her about P90 and that I wanted to give it a try and needed her support. She agreed, as she felt she needed to do something for herself too, so she went the Atkins route. On April 12th, 2003, I took the dreaded before picture and began my P90 workouts religiously on April 13th, 2003. I took pictures every 30 days and noticed changes. Not huge changes like the infomercial, but good changes nonetheless. This is due to the fact that I had a difficult time weeding out certain foods. At any rate, I stuck with the workouts six days a week through July that year. My day 90 picture did not look anything close to the people I saw in the infomercial a year and a half before, but I felt good. I went from 200 plus pounds down to 185 pounds and could start thinking about wearing smaller clothing. My shining moment came that summer. It was with clothing. I still wore the size 36 pants and shorts, but they got looser. On a whim, in July, I decided to try on a pair of my size 34 jeans I had stored. Stored because someday I would fit into them, and again, stored because someday I would fit into them again, damn it. Yeah, right. Well, that time was here. I put them on, and they fit perfectly. I went in to show my wife, and she was taken back a bit at first because she said I looked like I had lost hip structure. Fat structure was more like it. The best part of the story, and what catapulted me to continue to working out, was while I had the jeans on, I felt in the pockets, to make everything fit right and perhaps stumble across that abandoned $20 bill in the pocket. I reached in the little coin pocket and pulled out a ticket stub from a movie stub dated July 2nd, 1998. I couldn't believe that I hadn't been able to fit into those jeans for 5 years. I was elated and put the stub in a place for safekeeping. Kind of a trophy, if you will. The following 90-day period, I completed another round of Power 90 and began searching Beachbody's website for the next step after P90. I was hoping to find something where I wouldn't have to work out so long, but could maintain everything I had worked at. I ordered Power Half Hour. When the tapes came, yes, this was VHS tapes. When the tapes came, I was a bit taken back with the fact in order to continue progress after P90, I would need to do 2 Power Half Hour tapes. Well, I decided to do just one a day and see how it went. Well, there was good news and bad news. The bad news was I regressed a bit in my overall conditioning and put back on a few pounds. The good news was that my wife was intrigued by my results and began doing Power Half Hour every day herself. We both continued our Beachbody workouts each night after work. There was a moment in November 2003 that my wife and I were carrying a table upstairs for Thanksgiving guests, and I looked at her arms. She had biceps. Cute, hard, chiseled biceps. I was so happy for her. We both were shaping up so well, and we felt a lot better because of it. That month, I decided to go back onto Power 90, and Terry continued with Power Half Hour. I started getting my results back and even progressing further with P90 this time. Then disaster struck. On the drizzly evening of December 9th, I came home I'm going to read that again. On the drizzly evening of December 9th, I came home at my usual time, but needed to get to a hair appointment in 15 minutes. My neighbor came over and asked me if I had a minute to chat, and I told her I didn't. She insisted that I stay home and cancel my appointment because someone needed to talk to me. I got a sick feeling in my gut, and we both went into my house. I let out all the dogs and took care of the puppies as we also ran a German Shepherd rescue. When I got done taking care of all the waggling tails, and a man had come to the door introducing himself as the county coroner. My heart sank so deep. He had me sit down, and he proceeded to tell me about an accident my wife had had in a head-on collision with a semi-truck. Terry was dead. Devastation, numbness, lost. My world as I knew it would never be the same. For whatever reason, I was able to meet with Terry's secretary, and she and I planned Terry's entire visitation and tribute in lieu of a funeral that very night. All of the arrangements and details went perfectly. Terry would have been proud. During that long week, I tried my best not to drown myself in sorrow, in food, and there was no time to even think of working out. I wondered if I'd even try again. Well, I did, and even much more determination. I completed my next round of P90. I visited the Beachbody website often and had my eye on the new P90X program. I watched all the videos and marveled at the fact a company would document and present its own research on a new product. The movies were done in a way that mirrored my own style, so I doubly appreciated the content. The release of P90X finally happened. I signed up to get a notice about the official release, but nothing came. By the time I realized it, I was 2 weeks behind everyone else. Oh no, a panic. I read the message boards from people in the early stages. This program frightened me even before I got it. Would I be way in over my head? P90 would kick my butt many days. What would an extreme version do to me? I finally received the program, but waited to start until I had all of the equipment, yoga mat, pull-up bars, bands, etc. I started P90X on March 13th, 2004. The program totally kicked my butt at first, still does, and I repeated a few times. The results were totally amazing. I did not follow the food plan, shame on me, but I kept my intake pretty much in check. I started the program weighing about 181 pounds, and now I am at 165 as of this writing. I am also wearing size 32 and occasionally size 31 pants. I'll be turning 40 years old in 2 weeks, and never thought I'd be in better shape than I ever have been in my whole life. P90X. I bought it and brought it. The pictures I took each 30 days are only frontal shots, but they do show a story over the past year and 90 days. Hence 1 year plus P90X. I am so proud of what I've accomplished, and yet and I get compliments on my appearance all the time. People ask me what I did to get in shape, and I tell them all about the products from Beachbody. Many of those people have gone and purchased their own products. So Beachbody, thank you so much for creating products that make sense and work well. Of course, there is the responsibility of the buyer to make it work well. It is just incredibly amazing what transformation can occur when you follow the program. I'm still not sold on infomercial stuff, but the ones from Beachbody are about products that are realistic and work. It is the end of July 2004, and I'm about to begin round 2 of P90X, as there are still some things I need to improve on. Yoga for an hour and a half, for example. Ugh. I'm all smiles after my last photo upon P90X completion. I only wish I had my life partner to share my success with me. At least I'll always feel her inspiration to keep pushing me to improve and keep building a better me. I love you, Terry, and I love you, Beachbody. So there's the letter that I sent to Beachbody back toward the end of 2004. And actually, what I did was I sent in a video along with it with my P90X results. And I did P90X on VHS tape. You can actually go over to my YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/ptinsley. And right at the very top, I have that clip of video that I sent in with my little interview and stuff like that I sent in to Beachbody that they could use. And believe it or not, they had me, they were just looking for people. Did anybody get results from this crazy wild program? And they actually used some of that footage in their very first running of their P90X infomercial, which I was honored to be a part of. And I was a September 2004 success story in Beachbody. And so this all led to me just wanting to help people on the message boards and help friends and family who maybe if they weren't ready for P90X, they might have been ready for some of the other Beachbody workout programs. It was the home program that because I was working out kind of in secret. I was too embarrassed, too self-conscious to go to a gym. And I wanted something that would work, but I didn't want to put in the work, right? But once I did, I found that I just had to kick my own butt. But I had a trainer on the TV telling me exactly what to do. That was my missing part back in the days when I went to a gym. Was I just tried to guess my way around it, and basically I was just kind of paying for a membership to have some leisure time to go around and guess how to make my muscles sore but not get results. I don't know if any of you can relate to that, but that led to me wanting to help other people and pointing people to a solution that worked. And then eventually, after I think in end of 2006, 2007, somewhere in there, Beachbody created the opportunity where many of us could sign up to become a coach and actually run kind of our own independent businesses to help more people. And I've been fortunate to be able to help thousands of people. I started my podcast. We're coming on year 12. Year 12 of the Power Blast podcast, as of like April 7th, April 14th, somewhere in there. That when just shortly after I became a coach, I started this podcast because I wanted to reach out and help coach people, help inspire people to shorten their learning curve of what I went through. And not everybody just loses somebody and has that devastation impact, but to realize that life likes to challenge us so much, and there's so many things that we do not have control of. So we need to kind of dial it back and say, what can I control? And when you take advantage of those things that you can control, like you can control what you eat, you can control getting in exercise, you can control how you kind of structure your day, you can control your attitude and how you think about things, you can control the things that you put into your head instead of drama, media-filled TV, but reading uplifting, powerful books or listening to awesome podcasts or audiobooks. You can control those decisions and those opportunities, which can fuel you to bigger and better things, to other opportunities that are more positive, that make life more fulfilling, more rich, more energetic. And I think that ripples out. I like to say, I'm not just reaching out to you, but maybe something that my podcast has done, or maybe my blog, or maybe some of the posts on social media. Maybe it's some of my story that has reached you or touched you, and you've made that decision to say, you know what, I'm going to do something for myself. And then maybe that inspires somebody else. That sends chills down my spine. It ripples out to people I may not know. Maybe you share this podcast with somebody and they're inspired. That makes me smile. That lets me know it's like, man, by taking care of the things that that I can control, when my life was so out of control, and to put myself into that power, that control, and to know that by doing that helped somebody else take control. Wow. That is just some big stuff to me, and why I get up every morning just so turbocharged to help others and to serve others. If you've stuck with this podcast, listening to it or watching it the whole time and seeing my tear-filled eyes, kudos to you. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate you. If you feel that any of this has touched you, please share it with somebody that you know you care about. Maybe somebody that's maybe going through a tough time and needs to do something. I'm willing to help. You can email me, perrytinsley@gmail.com. You can comment below. You can come over to social and get on Facebook and private message me. That's fine. And, if you get over to the iTunes store or in your podcast app and do a rating, an honest rating and review for Power Blast Podcast, that can help the show reach many, many more people. I so appreciate you, my friend. Thank you for taking the time. You absolutely rock. And remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week.